Don't mind me. Just a bit of a hairball problem. Oh, come on. That was good. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft The Journey with me, BugmanCX. And this is the series where we've been upgrading a survival world of Minecraft right from the earliest versions and learning about Minecraft's history and development all along the way. Right now, as you can hear from all of these spiders around me somewhere, I'm here in the mineshaft ravine that we've recently moved into, and yes, it's still looking a little bit shabby, but that's because we've got a lot more work to do here. Right now we're playing Minecraft Beta 1.8 pre-release, also known as the Adventure Update. And as we know, the development of the Adventure Update had been going on for quite a while during 2011. Today we're going to cover a couple of the new features that were added into this version, and we're going to start by going back and looking at some of the hints and teasers put out by Notch and the gang during development of this Adventure Update. Notch had always been open with the community about Minecraft's development, but he was also notorious for trolling and teasing the community with curious puzzles and hints about what sort of features might be coming up in the future. Let's go back to around June 2011. This is just after Beta 1.6 had been released, and at the time, the Adventure Update was planned to go out as Beta 1.7, but since it took so long, Beta 1.7 got released in between, and Beta 1.8 eventually became the Adventure Update. Notch was talking about implementing a new lighting system for this update. On June 11th, 2011, he wrote, "Remember how many chunk updates there are when the sun sets or rises in Minecraft? In 1.7, there are 0. He went on to publish 3 images of the lighting, starting with the first, saying, "Oh, it's screenshot Saturday? Well, okay." Oh, interesting. It seems to be a screenshot taken at nighttime with a single, very orangey coloured torch on a hill. The new lighting system looks interesting, but wait, what's that on the left-hand side of the screen? A strange round yellow thing? Definitely peculiar. Notch released 2 more images that night showing off the lighting system, which showed a cave in both the daytime and the nighttime. These pictures are great and all, but that first picture with the weird yellow thing was too peculiar to ignore. The next day, Notch claimed that this other screenshot had a small error in it and posted a fixed one. Oh really, Notch? Really? Fast forward a couple of days, and on the 14th of June 2011, Notch put out another teaser image, this time the change list for the Adventure Update, which back then was still going to be Beta 1.7. And here's a heavily censored change list for 1.7 so far. Wait, heavily censored? Yep, another troll. This list had been obscured by some kind of blurring effect. That is, except of course for the long-running removed Herobrine joke at the bottom. Notch tweeted, "By the way, the 2 screenshots of the new lighting and the screenshot of the change list contain information you can figure out about 1.7. Users are pretty clever, so what could all of this mean?" First, people tried figuring out what the blurred text could be, but Notch confirmed that the text wasn't the clue. So people moved their attention to the tabs at the top to see if they'd reveal something. It had been worked out that this was a screenshot from Eclipse, the code editor that Notch used for development, but it was TM Caffeine who decoded what the tabs at the top said. By figuring out the right font and painstakingly matching up the pixels in the screenshot to the pixels in the font, it was possible to extrapolate the missing pixels and fill in the letters. And so, these tabs read experienceorb.java, changelist.txt, level.java, tile.java, huge mushroom tile.java, huge mushroom feature, random level source. So was this right? Well, who knows, but it was the closest anyone could get, and knowing what we know now, it seems pretty accurate to me. Notch dropped another hint for XP and levels when he posted a screenshot about world height being customizable for modders. He posted a picture of a mountain saying, "Yeah, the level generator isn't exactly tweaked for 512 height." But this screenshot also revealed something new. The XP bar was right there above the hotbar. It was the first time this had been seen publicly. PC Gamer interviewed Notch and put out an article the next day saying, "Yesterday, Notch posted an image of a massive mountain on his Twitter feed. But that's not all. Look closely at said image. See the bar that looks a bit like an XP bar? It is an XP bar, but it also brings something extra. Permadeath. In a forthcoming update to Minecraft, not only will you be able to gain levels, you'll lose your leveling progress if you die. In that interview, Notch went on to say that he still didn't quite know how players would level up. I'm not entirely sure on how the leveling is going to work, because that part isn't as fun. We're trying to figure out something that is fun and kinda lightweight. We're thinking of getting an automated XP system. It's not implemented in any way that makes any kind of sense at the moment. And that's true, because in Beta 1.8, it's completely unfinished. Right now, all you do is build up XP, but you can't do anything with it. Interestingly, this isn't actually the first time Notch had entertained the idea of a points-based system for Minecraft. To explore that, we would need to go all the way back to Survival Test and... Wait a minute. What is this? What's in there? I've never seen this before. Look at that. It looks exactly like... No. Survival Test. It's Survival Test through this weird magic door. How does this even work anyway? Okay. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to trust it. Okay. Let's go. Oh, we made it. 0.25 survival test. Oh, I'm already being attacked. But you might remember that back in Survival Test, it was possible to accrue a score, and you did that by killing different mobs within the game. So now that we're not so under attack, maybe we can do that. In 0.24 of Survival Test, you didn't know what your score was until you died, because it appeared on the death screen. But here in 0.25, I got a score of 100. But here in Survival Test is 0.25. Every time you kill a mob, it increments your score counter up in the top right-hand corner. Skeletons are not really what I want to go for here. So the points change a few times over these versions of Survival Test, but here in this version, zombies and skeletons are worth 100 points each, creepers are worth 250 points, and pigs, they're just worth 10 points each. Let's go over here and see if we can kill a couple of these zombies and see what sort of score they give us. Come here, you. I love these little hats that they wear. They're so fierce as well. Come on. Let's see what you give me. 100 points. There's a creeper over there. I'm going to go and try and kill the creeper and see if we can get up to 350 points between the zombie and the creeper. Hello, you see me now. You see me. Now remember what these things do in this version? They explode on death. So, ow. Okay, it's chaos already. I remember what these versions are like. All right, score of 350. Notch did have a few different ideas about experience and levels in Minecraft. During late in-dev, he wrote on his blog, "Here's what I was thinking for the XP/levels. When you start a new game or join a server, you're level 1. You start with 4 hearts of health. Kill monsters to gain XP, gain enough XP, and you gain a level. Every time you level up, you gain half a heart up to the maximum, and you also mine slightly faster. Leveling up would be pretty fast. And here's the kicker. When you die, regardless of reason, you go back to level 1, and you drop all the items you're carrying." But later that same day, he wrote another post saying, "No XP, no levels. I got convinced not to add it. The basic argument is that it adds artificial progression to the game, and that it encourages grinding, and that it effectively penalizes new players instead of penalizing death. I still want to come up with some fun way of having something like permadeath in multiplayer, but I don't think XP and levels are right for the game." After this idea was shelved, the scoring system in the game was effectively removed, although the death screen still has the score placeholder, though it doesn't work. It's still there, even in Beta 1.8. And so the same idea exists here in Beta 1.8. As I kill things in the world, I gain experience, but instead of just gaining the points, each time a mob dies due to a player kill, a few little XP orbs will pop out onto the ground, and each time that I pick one up, I gain more and more experience. And I thought the best way to check this out and gain the XP quickly would be to hook up the mob grinder. So I've been working away here and I've hooked up the skeleton spawner, and isn't it looking glorious? There are so many of them over there. Let's go have a bit of a closer look. Now these should all be a one-hit kill, so it should be pretty easy. Oh, that was unexpected. That was unexpected. Never mind, crisis averted. I'm here with I don't know, 50, 100 skeletons? I'm not exactly sure, but there's quite a lot of them there. And notice how my XP bar at the moment is completely empty. That's because I recently died and I have no experience and no levels. So let's see what happens whenever we kill one of these skeletons. Oh, there we go. I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little XP orbs, and notice how 5 XP orbs has taken my experience bar up to the halfway point, because each orb is worth 1 point and you need to get 10 of them in order to reach level 1. So if I kill one more skeleton in here, some of them don't quite have half a heart of health or whatever they need, but this should have given me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, and just like that, I've reached level 1. Now to reach level 2, I now need to get 20 additional XP, which means I probably need to kill 4 of these things to do it. Let's be quite careful. As I said, some of them won't die, which on the first hit at least, which is annoying. Okay, 2 more to go with 5 XP each, and come on. Come on. There we go. Last one. And that should take me up to level 2. So to get to level 3, I now need to get 30 XP, level 4, 40, and so on. And I'm not really sure exactly how far up it goes like that, but it sounds like to get to level 50 or 100 is going to take quite a lot of XP. That's quite a lot of killing. So what I want to do now is just kill some more of these and see how much XP I can get from, a good 50 to 100. Like I said, I don't know how many skeletons. Oh, I think I got rubber banded because yeah, there are so many in there. They're pushing me back. I didn't expect that, but that's quite funny. Anyway, time to whack some skeletons. Now, what is interesting about the experience orbs is that they're entities, and just like these items here on the ground, these can all contribute to lag. But what's different about an XP orb compared to an item entity on the ground like that arrow is that the XP orbs, for some reason, won't disappear. There's a 5-minute item counter, which means that if I don't pick up these items within 5 minutes of them being on the ground, then they'll just despawn. And that's a good thing, because it reduces the amount of lag in the world. But these just hang around forever. For example, just down here, you can see a few of them down there that have probably just made their way down there for whatever reason, something that I killed, or they flew off and they went down there on their own. But if I don't go and pick them up, they'll just be there forever. In fact, when I was building this farm, there was one right here, and again, it'll just stay there forever. So if I don't go around and routinely pick these things up and make sure that my world is nice and clean, then I'm just making things bad for myself when it comes to lag, and I don't want that. Oh yeah, and just don't try and use this thing in multiplayer. It's just not going to work. I can't even kill any of them. Now, Notch said that when you die, there would be permadeath, which means that you lose all of your progress in the game. That means you lose all of your XP and your current levels. But that's not entirely true if you make it back to your death point fast enough. So if I just throw myself off this bridge, because when you die, a few XP orbs should fly out of your body. Except here in Minecraft 1.8 beta, for some reason, every single point of XP will fly out of your body when you die, and you get this, a fountain of XP that causes your game to lag really hard. Thanks, Notch. In July of 2020, when the world seed for the Minecraft panorama image was found, Dinnerbone posted to the Reddit thread congratulating everyone on their efforts. Curiously, he spoke a little more about the original plans for the panorama and published a screenshot from Minecraft's development. This is a screenshot of what one of the early panoramas would have looked like, but take a look at the XP bar. This had never been seen before, but it appears to be one of the early placeholders for the XP bar. I'm not sure exactly when in development this was taken, but it clearly shows just a solid green bar. We've seen how I'm able to accrue XP and level up, even if I can't use these levels for anything at the moment. But in Beta 1.8, there's no way of knowing how many levels I have, because it's just not displayed anywhere on screen. Interestingly enough, when Hat Films were commissioned to do the Adventure Update trailer, they were given an advanced copy of Beta 1.8, and the version they used for the trailer did in fact show you how many levels the player had. These were called skill points. But I'm not sure why this display was removed for the Beta 1.8 pre-releases. Maybe it was because Notch hadn't yet really decided what this was going to be used for. But either way, it would have been good to know. All the changes like hunger and sprinting were all carefully tied together with other changes to overhaul the combat system in Beta 1.8. And now we've got access to a few new moves, and I'm keen to put those to the test. When attacking mobs in a sprint, this will cause a kind of knockback effect, sending the mobs flying. In fact, Notch enjoyed this change so much that he tweeted about it. Hitting a mob while rushing now sends them flying. It's satisfying, and I'm giggling a bit. We've also got access to critical hits, which will do twice as much damage. And to activate one... Creepers are probably not the best choice. To activate a critical hit, I need to be falling at the same time as I strike my damage. And notice how you get that particle effect as well, indicating that a critical hit has been registered. So let's see if we can try this out with a couple of other mobs. Not you! Nice. Ouch. A critical hit does twice the amount of damage as a regular hit. Some significant changes have been made to the bow as well. Previously, you used to just be able to fire it like a machine gun, holding right-click like this and you'd fire tons of arrows off in the direction that you were facing. But notice how these arrows only landed a short distance in front of me? That's because now in Beta 1.8 you need to pull the bow back in order to create some tension to make the arrow fly further. I can actually just pull it back a little bit if I want to and get a little short distance, but if I pull the bow back fully, notice how it has that trailing effect, and that means that my arrow has hit with, I don't know if it's double the amount of power, but certainly a lot more power. So that's a nice way of using your bow effectively and making sure you're wielding as much damage as possible. Another nice little touch is that if this mob gets hit by an arrow, you can see that it's now sticking out of its head. Ouch. And one other small change is the amount of damage that I wield whenever I punch a mob without any kind of weapon has been reduced to just 1 point of health. It was changed in Beta 1.5. Oh dear, I'm gonna die. It was changed in Beta 1.5 so that if you punch a mob without a weapon, you will wield 1 heart or 2 points worth of damage, and now it's been reduced to just 1 point. So that means that if I want to punch a zombie to death, it's going to take me at least 20 punches. That's a lot. Another feature added is the ability to parry with my sword, and I do that by right-clicking and raising it, like so, and by doing so I should be able to block a lot of the incoming damage from melee attacks and projectile attacks. I'm not sure exactly how much gets blocked, but hopefully enough to prevent me getting killed by skeletons. Let's just get rid of you, shall we? I think one of the interesting features, though, is the ability to block explosive damage. So we now have a little bit of an extra defense against these pesky creepers. If I just parry... Oh! That was unexpected. I guess it doesn't always work, so maybe that's something to watch out for. Let's try this again and see what happens against this creeper. That definitely blocked a lot more damage than the last one, but I'm sick of blowing holes in the world, so I think that's enough of all of this for now. Well, as you can see behind me, there are a couple of squid stuck in the skeleton farm, and I hope that doesn't become too much of a problem. But I'm afraid that's all we have time for in today's episode. So I'm going to leave it here, but I do want to leave with a sword waggle, because of course... Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, well, I honestly don't know what to say, because I was going to sign off by saying that now that the combat changes have been introduced and you can block with your sword like this was a way that players used to say hello to each other by doing a bit of a sword waggle like this, but obviously it isn't working in multiplayer right now because that's what I was using to record that last clip. But oh well, I'm sure it will get added soon and we can take a proper look at it. But until next time, this has been BugmanCX. You've been watching Minecraft The Journey. Bye-bye.